Ubisoft used to be pretty great. They made some good games back in the day. Prince of Persia, Splinter Cell, Assassin's Creed, all were pretty good games. But looking at the Ubisoft of today, it's a different story. When looking at anything modern Ubisoft puts out today, I tend to avoid it. Mainly because Ubisoft makes some weird decisions with their games. For example, let's look at Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It was a sequel to Ghost Recon Wildlands. It was basically more of the same with a new story and location. It added classes that you could pick from that focused on different styles of play. Like if you wanted to be more stealthy or you wanted to be a medic. Now that's all fine, but the problem with Breakpoint is that it allows you to buy XP boosters. What are these boosters used for? You guessed it. It's to boost how much experience you would earn. Now, why is that important? Well, because after you earn enough XP, you get a skill point, which you can then spend in a skill tree to get new abilities or buff stats. It should be pretty apparent to see what the problem is already. The experience that you gain is directly tied to your progression in-game. So that means that while testing their game, they felt that the amount of XP you earned was not enough. And instead of tweaking it to the point where it felt fair, they instead left it alone and decided to give you an option to buy an XP booster to make it feel fair. Or maybe from the beginning they chose to make the progression as slow as possible, so that you would be more inclined to buy an XP booster to make it feel fair. But let's switch topics and talk about Assassin's Creed. Now, the last Assassin's Creed I played was Assassin's Creed 3. For others, it was Black Flag. I believe that after Black Flag, the franchise has gone downhill ever since. Now, if you've liked the other Assassin's Creed after Black Flag up until present day, that's fine too. Your preference is your preference. But I believe that Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed Black Flag were the peak of the franchise. I mean, Assassin's Creed got the now infamous Tomahawk Chop music video by Smosh. I'm pretty sure everybody remembers that. And people like the ship mechanic so much from Black Flag that they put it in the other Assassin's Creed games. But let's get the reason why I brought Assassin's Creed up. Assassin's Creed Origins. Look, I get wanting to spice up the formula. Assassin's Creed has been going on for a while now. You gotta innovate or be left behind. But a leveling system was not the way to go. I'm an assassin that hides in the bushes and the occasional pile of hay. I blend into the crowd effortlessly. I follow you on rooftops out of sight and out of mind. The only time you'll know that I'm there is when my knife is in your back, only to find out that you were 2 levels higher than me, and I might as well have been stabbing you with a really big toothpick. Did no one see how immersion breaking and counterintuitive a leveling system would be, where your main goal is to sneak around and stab people? I shouldn't have to worry about whether or not the opponent is a higher level than me in a game like this. I don't care if he's a couple levels higher than me, I'm shoving my blade through his neck. He should be dead regardless. Now, Ubisoft love their open world games. It's their bread and butter. But another reason why I avoid their games is that other devs simply do it better. Open world games tend to have side quests to allow you to engage with the world. They allow you to learn more about the world you're in, learn more about the people who inhabit it, and learn about the other things going around in the world other than the main story. 2 games do this better than Ubisoft: The Witcher 3 and the Yakuza series. In The Witcher, all the side quests, at least to me, felt worth doing. CD Projekt Red really put in the effort to make the side quests good. And yes, you might be like Cyberpunk, but that's not what we're talking about right now. For example, there are these series of quests where you go to each major town and participate in a brawling championship, to eventually face the brawling champion for the title as well as some rewards. But I remember one part of the quest that stuck with me. In one of the towns, your opponent for the brawl asks to speak with you before the fight. He begs you to throw the fight so he can win. Your opponent in this town is basically a peasant, as the other towns had people that looked like they could hold their own. Now, I imagine that he wanted me to throw the fight so he could look strong or maybe show off to the women of the town. Because Witchers, if you don't know, are monster hunters, and are contracted to kill things like Leshens and Griffins. So imagine beating one in a fist fight. You would be the talk of the town probably forever. Anyway, after declining his offer, I entered the ring and beat him. After the match, I wanted to see if I could talk to him, and see his reaction to what had happened. After talking to him, he revealed that the reason he was asking me to throw the fight was because the winner would win a couple of coins. He then told me that he was going to use these coins to buy some flour for his family so they could have something to eat. Obviously, I felt bad after he told me this, and I might have considered throwing the match had he told me this beforehand. But what happened next was what made me remember this. After he stopped talking, a new dialogue option appeared. It allowed me to give the man a couple coins so he could buy the flour, and of course I did it. He then thanked me immensely, and then we went our separate ways. That was side content, not the mainline story. Few developers go that far with their side quests, and I can't really remember any side quests that left an impact on me that came from a Ubisoft game. Maybe some stuff from Far Cry 3 or Assassin's Creed 2, but everyone likes those, so they don't count. Anyway, Yakuza also has its fair share of memorable side quests. You know, Yakuza, the serious crime drama about butting heads with dangerous enemies, settling problems not with words but your fists. The side quests in that are probably where you extort a man for money or break into someone's house and steal things. Surprisingly, no. In Yakuza, you as a grizzled member of a gang can race toy cars against children. That's not a joke. You can even customize them and change how they perform to handle a certain track better. Like if the track has more turns, you might want to focus on acceleration rather than top speed. It's surprisingly deep. There's also a side quest where you protect Michael Jackson. Oh, sorry, Miracle Johnson from zombies while he shoots his iconic Thriller music video. Now, not every side quest is super wacky. Some are more real. Like there's this one where you come across this boy asking for advice. He tells you that he likes this girl. He tells you that whenever she asks for something like food, a drink, or really anything, that he goes out of his way to get it for her, in the hopes that she ends up liking him back. He asks if there's anything else he can do to do more for her. Eventually you break it to him that she's just using him as an errand boy, and that she most likely knows that he likes her and is leveraging that to her benefit. At the end of the side quest, he realizes that you are speaking the truth and stops being her errand boy, and funny enough becomes your errand boy out of admiration. Now, I'm not saying that every game has to have big, massive side quests that are completely wacky. What I am saying is, give me something positive to remember about your game, Ubisoft. Lastly, let's get to exploration. Ubisoft, among other developers, regularly fail at making exploration of a game world feel rewarding. There have been many times where I see something interesting in the distance only to be disappointed when I get there. Elden Ring has been one of the games that have genuinely surprised me when it comes to exploration. There have been many times where I've been drawn to exploring off the beaten path, because every time I do it, I always get rewarded for it. Like, I wonder what's on this hill. Oh, a prison containing a mini-boss. I wonder what's down this way. Oh, a dungeon. This is all done naturally because I want to explore, and every time I do, I get rewarded for it. And every time I unlock a new part of the map, I'm excited at what I'll stumble across. Now, of course, there won't always be a new dungeon to find or a hidden boss to discover. Sometimes all you'll come across is just a corpse with an item. But that's forgivable, considering all the other things you found beforehand. It's hard to make every discovery big, but it's still leagues ahead of what Ubisoft is doing. Hopefully now you understand why I tend to avoid Ubisoft games. It's gone to the point where if I hear a game was made by them, I immediately don't care about it, because I know that it'll be one of two things, either completely boring and devoid of anything interesting, or monetized in a way that makes EA jealous. As much as it sounds like I hate Ubisoft, I really don't. I'm just disappointed. I would love if Ubisoft made a game so good that it makes me believe in them again, but until that day comes, I'll keep avoiding their games. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. First of all, I would like to thank you. I appreciate you getting all the way back here. If you're back here, I would assume that you enjoyed this video. If so, I want to let you know that I have other content that you might enjoy as well. I have a full playthrough of the first Hitman. I have a partial playthrough of Alien Isolation. I also have a few Apex videos. If you wanted some lore on the Alternator or R301, which are both featured in Apex, I have a video on that. And finally, I have a video where I browse Reddit. Very original, huh? Anyway, if any of that interests you, I would appreciate it if you gave it a watch. Links in the description. But anyway, thanks for stopping by, and I hope to see you again. And as always, have a wonderful morning, noon, or night. Goodbye.